All right, guys, I want to talk about the difference between a diet zealot and a diet expert. The reason why I'm thinking about this video is because I saw another post by a guy who calls himself BioLane in social media. His name's Lane Norton, Dr. Lane Norton, Dr. Lane Norton, PhD. He's a very intelligent, a very educated individual, but he's also kind of a generalist. Okay, he knows how the body works, he knows how nutrition works, but like I said, he just basically knows a lot of different stuff. And his opinion is if you put something in your social media like keto expert, vegan expert, carnivore expert, paleo expert, etc., you're basically saying that he's saying that you're a zealot, that it's a cult-like following, that you think this is the only diet in the world, and that everything, you're going to bend the truth just to make this one diet seem better than everything else. And there are a lot of idiots out there. There are a lot of cult leaders. There are a lot of zealots, but I'm not one of them. Okay? The reason why I say that I am a low-carb dieting expert is because I am a low-carb dieting expert. I'm 45 plus, okay? When I was 39 and like a half years old, so about 5-6 years in a row now, I've been eating low carb. I tried out almost every low carb diet that there is, okay? I've researched every low carb diet that there is. I've tested my own low carb diets. I know what works, I know what doesn't. I know why it works, I know why it doesn't. I know the advantages and disadvantages of low carb dieting. So I'm not saying that low carb is the only way to go. What I am, however, saying is I am an expert at low carb. Low carb works well for me. If you are like me, it will work well for you. And if you want to learn about low carb, you come to me. And that's the important part. That's what makes me, in my opinion, an expert and not a zealot. If I were a zealot, I would say everybody on the face of the earth has to be a vegan, or everybody has to be a carnivore. If you eat fiber, you're going to burn in hell because everything has to be carnivore. Everything has to be if it fits your macros. If you don't eat birthday cake for breakfast, you're wrong. That is being a zealot. Me, being an expert, is I'm an expert on low carb. If you want to be vegan, you go to somebody who has been studying and trying and eating vegan for decades. Don't go to me. And people do that sometimes. They'll say, well, what do you know about vegan keto? Or how do I do vegan keto? I don't know how to do vegan keto. I don't know. And I tell them that, if somebody asks me, what do you think about the paleo diet? I've never really done the paleo diet, and I've done very superficial research, so I'm not the person to ask about the paleo diet. However, I will tell you one thing. When somebody comes to me, and these days when somebody comes to me for let's say one-on-one coaching, they've seen my videos, they know what I'm about. A lot of them have bought my programs and tried my diets themselves, okay? A lot of them are already fat adapted. They know that they like low carb. They know that they like my diets because they've tried them, and they hey, this is the guy to go to talk about low carb dieting, okay? So what they really just want is a little bit of tinkering, get this specific thing working, or how do I optimize this? But they're already knowing that they're going to get low carb from me. They're not going to be hey, how do I eat pizza every day and drink beer and still lose weight? I'm not an if it fits your macros guy, okay? So what I'm basically trying to say is, it's not bad to be an expert. All that means is, hey, I've done this and I haven't done anything else. I've just done this. I'm an expert on this. If you want to learn about this, then you come to me. Now, my biggest problem, where he says, Mr. BioLane or Dr. Lane Norton, PhD, says his problem is when people say, oh, vegan, carnivore, keto, you're a zealot, you have a cult leader. His big problem is that, you say that's the only way. My problem is when there's a girl, she's got 2 million followers on Instagram, okay? I know because I follow her that she's in if it's your macros, okay? She looks at her calories, she looks at her protein, she looks at her micronutrients, whatever, but she also eats pizza in between, etc., etc., etc. When you look at her programs that she has to sell, she's oh, she also has a vegan, a keto, and a paleo version of her diet. Now, if she's been doing her whole life, if it fits your macros, and she even said it. She said she couldn't really lose weight or get in shape until she went to flexible dieting, if it fits your macros, what you want to call it. And that's her thing. And that's what works for her. Why the hell would you ask her, who's never done a carnivore, keto, paleo, vegan diet, to get from her a vegan version of her diet. She's throwing darts at a board. Maybe she paid somebody who knows what he's doing to make a vegan version of her diet. But even then, it's pretty shady. Okay, I really don't understand why somebody would do that. You know, I mean, that's the same thing like, you know, if somebody says power lifter, does that mean they're a cult leader and you have to do power lifting? If you do Olympic lifting, you're wrong. Or if you play football, you're wrong. No, it just means this guy's a power lifter. If you have a question about powerlifting, ask this guy because he'll know. And if this guy who's a power lifter says, oh yeah, sure, I can make a CrossFit workout for you, don't buy shit from this guy because he says he's a power lifter. He does powerlifting. He's researched powerlifting. He's done a lot of powerlifting. And if he tells you how to do a CrossFit workout, he's pulling it out of his ass. You might as well make this shit up yourself. Okay? So anyway, that's just something I wanted to put out there. Like I said, I'm not a zealot. I believe in calories in versus calories out. I believe any, intelligent diet will work. Okay? I do, however, believe that certain diets are better for certain people. A lot of it has to do with adherence. A lot of it has to do with food addictions. Like me, I have a carb addiction. I handle my carb addiction by not eating any carbs. Okay? So, I'm not a zealot. I don't believe this is the only way. But what I do believe is, if you want to go ahead and find out how to do a vegetarian diet, you go to a vegetarian. And if you want to find out how to do a low carb diet, you come to somebody who's done low carbs. You don't come to some guy who's selling you anything any more than you would go to a dentist. Oh, I could also do your brain surgery for you. Dude, if you're a dentist, I'm going to go to you to get my teeth fixed. I'm not going to go to a dentist who also does open heart surgery, who also sets bones, who also will remove your appendix, and who also will do brain surgery. That is a person who doesn't know a goddamn thing about anything, okay? You might as well have your mechanic do brain surgery on you, just like your dentist doing brain surgery on you. So that's the point I'm trying to make, okay, guys? Speaking of low-carb dieting, go ahead, click on the links in the description, and you'll be able to check out some of the information I have. So if you're interested in my low-carb cutting and bulking program, research, application, experimentation, and I created my own diets. The best diets that work for me, the best diets that work for my clients in terms of, gaining muscle without gaining fat or losing fat without losing muscle. They're all down in there. And also, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, and yes, hint, hint, I am going to be doing low carb because that's all that I've researched. But if you are interested in doing work with me one-on-one on diet and low carb diet and exercise, please go ahead and click on the link below, and all my information about one-on-one coaching will be down there too. Aside from that, let me know what you think about the difference between a diet zealot and a diet expert. And aside from that, I will see you guys in the next video.